Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I'll give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you'd like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question for today is, do you think that Ubisoft should remove Lion from ranks? So I've been getting this question a lot lately, and it's probably due in part because not too long ago, Ubisoft made the announcement that they were going to be removing Lion from the Pro League. Their justification for doing so was that he wasn't just overpowered, but he was having a negative impact on the pro scene itself. Not only was he just winning matches all by himself because of his gadget, but as a spectator, it wasn't really all that interesting either. To have someone just activate their gadget and now you know, oh, defense is about to lose, that really isn't all that interesting to watch. And so instead of just trying to nerf him further or make some other adjustments to make him balanced, they've come to the conclusion that his gadget inherently just does not work in Rainbow Six Siege. Requiring people to stand still for any given amount of time just is not a well-balanced gadget, and so they're going to remove him from now and then rework him. They're going to come back and make him basically a brand new operator. He might have a similar theme, but his gadget isn't going to work exactly the way that it does right now. And so a lot of people are saying, well, if he's busted and completely broken for the Pro League, why does everyone else in ranked or even in casual have to deal with this character? Well, I imagine the main reason is that people have paid to play with these operators. This isn't like removing a map from ranked. This isn't like Favela or Yacht where they temporarily removed those. While people were upset about that, imagine a character that they actually spent money on was removed from play. I can only guess that people would be pretty upset about that. And so I think that's just really what it comes down to. Yes, it would probably make sense to remove this character. They've acknowledged, they've admitted that he's broken, he's busted, but because this is actually an operator that you can get through the season pass or just flat out buy with real world money, I think they would probably run into some serious issues with the player base. And so let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think it'd be okay for them to remove Lion? You think that that would be a good direction for Rainbow Six Siege? Do you acknowledge that that probably wouldn't be the best direction because the community itself probably wouldn't be on board? Give me your guys' thoughts down below. The next question comes from Anthony, and it is, do you think that with a new TTK in Battlefield 5, it is going to divide the player base as the Premium Pass did? I don't really like the way that DICE is handling things right now. They've even come out and admitted that the reason why they've increased the time to kill was that they're trying to accommodate the people that are playing for the very first time during the holiday season. People pick it up, they got it as a present, they jump on in, and if they die really quickly because of that fast time to death, DICE is assuming that they're not going to play for very long after that, and so they're going to leave and play some other video games, and that's something that they want to avoid. DICE wants to make this a live service. They want people to continue to play for an extended period of time so they can sell microtransactions. That's really what it comes down to. And so their very thought is that by increasing the time to kill, that's going to accommodate these newer players and they won't get frustrated because of that. In reality though, I feel like this is going to cause more problems than it solves. First of all, if this was only meant to be temporary and DICE plans on reverting the TTK changes back to what it was before the holiday season, not only does that seem really deceitful, but also it's going to be very jarring for those newer players. They play the game for about a month during that holiday season, they're getting to get comfortable with the game, and then it's seemingly out of nowhere, the TTK changes to a much more fast-paced gameplay. They're getting taken out faster, they're taking out the enemy quicker. That is going to be a very jarring experience. On top of that, if they do plan on having two different kinds of modes, you've got the core mode, which everyone was used to before, and this new updated TTK, that's just going to split your player base. If you now have two different versions of Conquest, two different versions of Breakthrough, you're going to be fracturing everyone into these different modes, and not only are queues going to be longer, but it's probably not going to be healthy for the longevity of the game. If it gets to the point where you just simply cannot find the mode and the playstyle that you're looking for because queues are so long, there's no servers running it, you're probably more likely to actually leave the game and move on to something else. If queue times start to get really bad, that's just going to exacerbate the problem. Queue times get longer, people just get fed up, they stop playing the game, that's going to increase the queue times, people are going to get more fed up with it, and so it just kind of compounds on itself until no one wants to play Battlefield 5 anymore. I don't know if it's going to get to that point quickly, but that is definitely something that DICE needs to be aware of. And so just in general, I am not happy with the way that DICE is handling things right now. Not only does it feel like a slap in the face for people that were supporting the game, enjoying what it was before, but it also is just a band-aid fix to a lot of other larger, more systemic problems that they definitely need to address, and I hope they do very, very soon. The next question comes from Jacob, and it is, do you think they went too far with nerfing Kaed by only giving him 2 electro claws? I don't know if I would agree with that. One thing I really like that Ubisoft did with this season is that they actually took the feedback of the community during the technical test server phase and implemented it into the game in a timely manner. If we look back at past DLC, that wasn't really the case. A lot of people were scratching their head when we were playing with Lion for the first time, for example. Everyone was giving the feedback like, hey, yeah, he's a bit overpowered, he's gonna be causing some problems, but we didn't see any changes. With this season, though, they were much more reactive, and thankfully so. Nomad, for example, was gonna be pretty busted. Being able to fling her gadget into the objective, having it be proximity, and just cause everyone to fall to the ground was going to be a really big problem. They realized that, people gave their feedback, and they made that change before she went live. Same with Kaed. He had 3, was able to reinforce technically all at one time, 1 hatch and then 4 different walls. If you wanted to, you could electrify 6 different walls. You could change it up and get some barbed wire in there. Like, he's incredibly versatile and flexible, and by allowing him 3 of those gadgets, that seemed a bit too much. And so I would actually much rather them tone down those new operators, make sure that they're not game breaking, and then if they wanted to, go on in and give them maybe a little bit of an upgrade. Instead of upgrading maybe his gadget from 2 to 3 in the future, if he does need some lovin', maybe increase the power of his primary weapon. His AUG right now doesn't do a lot of damage. It's laser beam like accurate, so it's amazing for headshots, but if you're not able to get those headshots, it takes a significant amount of time to be able to take someone out. And so if they do deem that he needs some improving, they don't need to give him, 3 gadgets, which is a huge upgrade, like that's a significant improvement. They could try to tailor him some other way. And so overall, while I do see where you're coming from, I'm glad that Ubisoft is taking a more cautious approach with this. They could always go on in the future and make some adjustments, but to have an operator that's overpowered for a while affects the game much more seriously than one that is a little bit underpowered. But of course, that is just my 2 cents. The next question comes from Matt, and it is, how would you feel if the medical crate in Battlefield 5 did an aerial heal if players are around it? It could be slower than the self-heal. I feel like it would make the medic, and specifically their medical crate, more viable. I agree that something needs to be done to this gadget because right now it's completely obsolete. There is almost no reason to use this specifically. The only scenario where it's halfway decent is if you're with people that actually are a little observant of their surroundings, which doesn't seem to be the case very often, and you've placed it on the front lines where a lot of people just need to go on over and grab some health while you're focused on what's happening in front of you. One of the downsides of using the medic pouch is that you need to be actively tossing these to your teammates. And so if you know that people are in front of you and you need to focus on what's in front of you, you can't really do that. And so having a box that people could just fall back to and heal themselves that way is a nice benefit. But those situations don't happen very often. Like if you played the game for any amount of time, you know that this box is incredibly underpowered. And so one way they could go about it is like what you recommended and just allow it to have an AoE heal. This is the way that it works in past Battlefield games. Why not have it work in Battlefield 5? The only reason why I could see them not doing this though is that for some reason DICE has had this policy with the game is that they want to make it as immersive as possible, and apparently that immersion comes from going through animations and actively requiring the player to click a button to be able to either get more rounds from a box or to be able to heal themselves. That is kind of the stance that they've had with the game, and so that might be why they never go down this route. Another way they could try to improve upon it is not only putting an icon or an indicator on the minimap, letting everyone know where these things are actually located, but also maybe you grab 2 med kits from it instead of just simply 1. Right now, if someone gives you a med kit as a medic, you get 1 spare, so that if you do take some damage, you yourself don't need to rely on the medic, at least right then. You can just hit your heal key and get back up to full HP. Well, instead of only getting 1 spare, maybe you could get 2. That would be a pretty big buff as well. All in all, though, I absolutely agree that something needs to be done. One concern I do have with your suggestion, though, is that the med boxes in previous Battlefield games were really powerful because of that AoE passive effect. It didn't really require a whole lot of thought on the part of the player, and so they would need to ensure that that doesn't become the same issue if they do decide to do this. We still want the med pouches to be a viable option because we want to have variety in healing, which currently isn't the case in Battlefield 5. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Do you like the idea of giving Kayed a buff? Do you think that's necessary? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, if you'd like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.